So, hello and welcome. In last class, we was discussing about what we was discussing about the market structure, and in that market structure, we have discussed about what we have discussed about various kind of the market, and I told you primarily market is divided into two parts. That is perfect market and imperfect market, right? This is the primary way of doing the division of the market: perfect market and imperfect market. And we have started with the imperfect kind of the market. And under the imperfect market, what we did under the imperfect market, we first did our monopoly part. First, we did our monopoly part, and after monopoly, we went for the monopolistic market competition, and then we understood what is oligopoly, right? And while winding up the last class, I was discussing about what I was discussing about perfect market competition, right? And I told you in the perfect market competition, similar all sellers are selling similar and identical goods, right? So they are selling similar and identical goods in the perfect market competition. So whenever there is a question to define market on the basis of goods sold in the market, goods sold in the market, what we can do, we can define, for example, if it is monopoly. If it is monopoly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of the good is there, because there is a single seller, so it is not going to impact on market, right? Whereas if it is if it is perfect market competition, if it is perfect market competition, so perfect market competition, it is the kind of what it is the kind of necessary condition. Market should be of similar and identical goods. It should be of similar and identical goods. For being a market of what? For being a market of perfect market competition kind of market, it is necessary. Market should be of what? Market should be of similar and identical goods. Okay? It should be of similar and identical goods. Got my point? Just give me a second. Okay. Shivan God. Good evening, sir. Yes, Shivan. Good evening. So this is how we define perfect market competition. In perfect market competition, goods are what? Goods are of similar and identical in the nature. Right. Now, when we move towards what? Monopolistic. Monopolistic market. In monopolistic market, what is the unique feature? In monopolistic market, if we talk in terms of goods, in monopolistic market, similar goods, but every seller is selling goods with unique feature. So what, how you can identify the market is monopolistic market. If market is a kind of market where sellers are selling similar product, for example mobile phones, if they are selling mobile phones but every seller is selling their product with a unique feature, then we will call it as a what, then we will call it as a monopolistic market. Now one more kind of the market, and that was oligopoly market of similar goods without unique features but with emphasis on brand value. So sometimes they do ask this question in many exams, not only in SEBI but also in other exams where they do ask questions from the market part. They have asked this question: which of the following market is a market of branded goods? Right? Which of the following market is a market of branded goods? Then answer is going to be what? Answer is going to be oligopoly. Whenever the question will be like question regarding market of branded goods, it is oligopoly. Clear? So in this way we can define the market on the basis of goods sold in the market, right? So what I wrote here, all these things what I wrote here, actually these are the points which can directly ask in the form of question, directly ask in the form of question. They can ask means, in which of the following market sellers are selling their product with the unique feature. This is the statement and they will give you the forename and you have to answer what? Monopolistic market competition, right? One more part of oligopoly I already told you when I was telling you about oligopoly. I told you when there are only two sellers. In oligopoly, two sellers, then it is duopoly, right? So, what we called it as a market, in the duopoly market, how many number of the sellers are being there or sellers are selling what product? So, this kind of the question they can may ask in your exam, right? So this is how one kind of the questions are being asked in the exam of the SEBI and other exams, right? One more thing, while taking this market perfect market competition, uh, I have seen some questions from another area. In perfect market competition, right? Let's see in this way. Demand and price, right? So demand and price, fine. So demand and price. So suppose that price is what? Price is 10 rupees. Fine. Price is 10 rupees and somewhere demand is like this. X is the demand. X is the demand. So here will be the point, right? Price is P1 and that P1 is 10 rupees. Fine. So we will get this point P1 and X on this axis, right? So now, as I told you in the perfect market competition, I told you in the perfect market competition what happened. Sellers are selling similar and identical goods, right? Sellers are selling similar and identical goods. So no seller can change the price. No seller can change the price. How? I told you in this example earlier, they were selling Dolo at the price of 20 rupees. They are selling the Dolo. Dolo is a medicine. They are selling that medicine at the price of 20 rupees. There are five sellers, right? Or even more sellers were there. Five sellers, they are selling at the price of 20 rupees. But in between, one seller has decided to sell it at the price of how much? 19 rupees 50 paisa. So if he is going to decide to sell at 19 rupees 50 paisa, all of the buyers are going to his shop, right? All of the buyers are going to his shop. So all other sellers are also going to decrease the price to from 20 to 19.50, because if they will not change the price, then what will happen? Then they are not able to sell their product. So all of them have decreased the price. All of them, they have decreased the price to 19.50. Okay. And in between, then see what he did. He decreased the price to 19 rupees. Then all the buyers will directly go to C rather than going any other, because others are selling at the price of 19.50, but C started selling at the price of 19. So again, all other sellers are going to be forced to make the price 19 rupees. So in that way, initially price was fluctuating, but now price is 19. Now if any seller is going to decrease the price, if any seller is further going to decrease the price, he may be not able to recover the cost of his business, right? So he's not going to even make a break even point, or even he's not able to make any profit from this business. So nobody is going to decrease the price. Nobody is able to decrease the price below 19 rupees, right? So what I want to explain you, in the perfect market competition like situation, when there is a perfect market kind of situation, then seller seller do not have a control over the price. Seller do not have a control over the price. When I say this statement, then people argue with me, ki sir, here what you told us price was 20, then seller decreased it to 19.5, then again it was 19. So they are able to change the price from 20 to 19.50, then again they made it 19. So, but you are saying they do not have a control over the price. But here you told us कि they are able to change the price. Okay, they are able to change the price, but once the price is identified finally 19. Now are they able to decrease the price further? No. They are not able to decrease the price further because they do not have any space to decrease the price. If they will decrease the price from here, then definitely they are going to be in loss, all of them. So now they cannot further decrease the price. Okay. Now, if I'll say, do anyone have a capacity to increase the price from here? No. Nobody can increase the price. Right. So, within a establishment of perfect market, how perfect market is established? When sellers who are good in number, they start selling similar and identical product at same place. Many sellers are selling similar identical goods at same place. Then it is going to form a what? Then it is going to form a perfect market competition. And when this price is going to be fixed, only then we will call it as a market reach to perfect situation. So sellers do not have control over the price, right? So they do not have a control over the price. Whatever the price is going to settle in the perfect market, that is going to be remain there. It is not going to be changed in the perfect market situation, right? So I hope you got this point when I wrote here, sellers do not have a control over the price. I hope you got this point why I have mentioned here, because once the perfect market situation will going to exist, the perfect market situation is going to exist, automatically this will happen. Control over the price is going to be lost, right? Control over the price is going to be lost, and it is going to be determined by buyer or other externalities, but definitely seller do not have a control over the price. If government is going to change the price or inflationary rate are going to be changed, so that is why all of them they will decide to increase the price. That are the externalities, right? And at this level, at this level of preparation of this exam, it is not required to go deep inside. Just you have to understand, in the standard like situation of perfect market, sellers do not have control over the price, right? So we can say that sellers are price taker. Sellers are price taker. So whatever the price is going to be in the market, they have to accept the price. Okay, they have to accept the price. So the point is, if in any case, if price is going to be changed, price is going to be changed, demand is going to be remain same, right? Price is going to be changed, then demand is going to be remain same. Yes or no? If price is going to be changed, demand is going to be remain same or demand is going to be changed? Anyone can answer? In perfect market, I'm talking about in perfect market. At price 10, demand is X. At price 10, demand is X. But consider if price will decrease and price is going to increase, what will be the impact on demand? Can anyone answer? Anyone? Demand will change. Okay. MI note 3 is saying demand will change. Okay, but demand will change. Okay, fine. But can you further elaborate? Means there is a small change in the demand, or there is a moderate change in the demand, or there will be extreme change in the demand. Good evening, Diksha. So if I'll say I agree with you, demand will change, but my question is here, the supplementary question is, if demand is going to be change, agreed, but it is going to be moderate change, it is going to be small change, or it is going to be big change, or it is going to be complete change. Moderate change. So you fall in trap. I have set the trap and you fall in that trap. No, my dear. There will be no moderate change, no small change, no big change. It is going to be complete change. Complete change in the demand. I have given you the example here, right? I was explaining this thing. So What happened what happened when the price was changed from 920 to 19.5 by E. E was selling at the price of 20, he changed the price 19.5. So what happened with the demand of all other sellers? Their demand becomes zero. Why? Because they are selling at 20 rupees and he is selling at 19.50. So relatively the price of all these was higher than the price of E. Okay, the price of E is 19.5, but at the same moment others are selling at the price of 20, right? So all these four sellers price is higher than one seller's price, so automatically all the buyers will shift to E. So if price is going to increase, then if you as a seller is going to increase the price, then demand is going to be zero for you. Okay. Similarly, what happened then? If you are going to decrease the price, now take this thing in the same sense. Okay, it is little bit hodgepodge here. I'll draw it here again so that you can get this point properly. A, B, C, D, E, F, even G. All of them, what they are doing, they are selling their product. They are selling their product at the price of 20 rupees. Okay. All of them, they are selling their price at 20 rupees and their price is similar and identical. Right? Similar and identical. All of a sudden, D has decided to decrease the price to 19.50. Then all the buyers who are coming to market and they can purchase from anyone, they will immediately shift to D, right? So the price of D is 19.5. So if you're decreasing the price, then all the market demand will shift to your side. All the market demand will shift to your side. Fine. If you will decrease the price, all the market demand will shift to your side. Means what we can say in general terms, if price will decrease, then there will be radical change in the demand. In general, we can say that now, because what is happening, if price is getting decreased, all the demand is shifted to him. Right. Now everybody, in order to save themselves, everybody took the same decision. 19.50, 19.50, 19.50, everyone has moved towards this price. Right. Now again, this time C, he has decreased the price and he made the price 19 rupees. Then again, all of them, what they have to do in order to survive, in this market, all of them, they are going to make the price 19. Right. So every time price will fall, there will be radical change in the demand from other seller, and the person who is going to decrease the price, all demand will shift to him. Right. So any decrease in the price will completely going to change the demand. Fine. Now A. A thought that ki, okay, what I will do, I will try to decept, I will use the deceptive means and I'll say the buyers ki my product have a unique feature. My product have a unique feature. That is why I'm increasing the price from 19 to 20. Right. But actually, whatever the deception you can use, within a some time, uh, automatically people are going to get this idea that there is no uniqueness in your product is similar and identical to what others are selling, because product is similar and identical. Right. Just tell me, if the MRP is 20 rupees. Are you going to take that product at 22 rupees? Because seller is selling ki, no, this bottle of cold drink have a special features. No, na. You are not going to take it at 22 rupees. And especially when there are many number of sellers who are selling the same bottle of cold drink, rather than 20, they are selling at the price of 19 or 19.5, whatever. You are not going to take it at 22. Right. So in any case, if you are going to increase the price, all the demand is going to shift from you. Nobody is going to come to your place. So this is what the beauty of perfect market competition. In perfect market competition, if price is going to increase, demand is going to be zero. And if price is going to decrease, then virtually we can say that it is going to be infinity. So this is the kind of market where there will be radical change in the demand. right? So on that basis, in the very second class and first class, we have discussed about the elasticity, and I told you whenever we have to find the elasticity, we have to first identify what is the variable number one, and on what in what we are going to identify the elasticity. So we are trying to find the elasticity of demand. And what is the variable? What we are changing? We are changing the price. After changing the price, we are trying to find the elasticity of demand. So we can say here delta D upon delta P. But you can see that dn minus 1. So dn is what? Dn is infinity and dn minus 1 is 0. So whatever you are going to subtract from infinity, it is going to be remain infinity. And if infinity is divided by any number, it will be remain infinity. So that is why E is infinite. And I told you in that lecture, whenever E is infinite, we call it as a perfect elastic. Perfect elastic. Fine. So on this price, demand is going to be remain same. On this price, demand is going to be remain same. If price is going to increase, demand will be 0. If price is going to be decrease, demand is going to be infinity. So two three things you have to keep in your mind if it is a perfect market competition. If it is a PMC, perfect market competition, the demand elasticity is perfect elastic, right? Demand elasticity is perfect elastic. And one more thing, the demand curve. The demand curve is going to be parallel to demand axis. In perfect market competition, demand curve is going to be what? Demand curve is going to parallel to demand axis, and it is going to be perpendicular to price axis, right? So I hope you got this understanding. But again, I'm just warning you, means I'm little bit what warning you. Why I'm warning you? If you will find question is based on curve, right? Question is based on curve and you are confused, then please draw the figure on the rough page and then answer. And still you are not very sure, then leave it. Don't try to push yourself unnecessary, right? But I know the limitation of the exam, right? So I already discussed all the cases with you, and in the very next lecture I'll try to provide the all the PDF of these lectures so that you can revise it from there. Fine. So this thing you have to keep in your mind. You have to go through the lectures. If you are following the lectures, nothing else is required. You are automatically going to hit the right answer. Right. Just few revisions is required, and the for the revision and all, I'll provide the PDF. You can revise that part from the PDF file. Okay. It is about to over, and probably in the next class you will get the PDF also. Okay, got this point about the PMC. PMC in the perfect market competition, elasticity will be the perfect elastic. Curve is going to parallel to demand axis, and curve is going to perpendicular to price axis. And sellers here are price taker. Now, if I'll ask you, am I not true? Okay, you got this. Okay, fine, very good. Now my question is, in which of the following market seller is price maker? Monopolistic market, monopoly market, oligopoly, or perfect market competition? Answer. In which of the following market is going to be seller is price maker? Answer: monopoly market. Very good. In monopoly market, they are price maker because there is no other seller, so they can fix the price. They can fix the price, right? There is no competition. That is why they are known as price maker, right? Okay, good. Any doubt uh, in this market part in your mind? If no doubt, I can proceed further on the next topic. No doubt. Okay, fine. So now we are moving towards our next topic, that is business cycle, right? And from here, when I'll start business cycle, from here I will also move towards consumption function. First, I will explain the business cycle and then I will move towards consumption function specifically, right? So, when we say business cycle business, right? So, when we are saying something like cyclical, right? Something like what? Something like cyclical. Cyclical simply means what? Cyclical simply means something which is happening and after some time it will happen again. Something which is happening here, so after some point of time this situation will arrive again, right? This situation will arrive again. Same thing for this point also. If something is happening here, after some time it will happen again. So that is why it is a cyclical thing, right? Cyclical thing. Fine. So this happen in the cycles. Okay. Now the prefix is business cycle. Means something which is happening in the business again and again. Then for that we can call it as a part of business cycle. Right. So that business cycle, because businesses are of different type. They are of different type. But when there was an intense focus, when there was an intense focus on the subject of economics, subject is itself, if we'll compare this subject of economics with other subjects like history or philosophy or political science, right? So it is a young discipline, right? And means after economics we will put psychology as a youngest discipline, right? But economics is also young discipline in comparison to other subjects like geography, history, philosophy, political science, right? So in last 200 years, we know that US and Europe, US and Europe did phenomenal. They went for phenomenal success in the field of economy, right? Economic growth, right? So phenomenal success in the economic growth in last 200 years. But when we see their growth of last 200 years, we find that there are some point their economic activity went on top, and at some point of time it went low, and again it went top. So this kind of the thing is happening in their economy, right? So this kind of the thing, this is happening in their economy. For long time they are going for what? At a point of time they are going on top, and they're going to bottom, and again on top, right? So when we go on top, right, in economy we will call it as a boom, right? Boom. And when we go on what? When we go decline, then it is called recession, or sometimes depression. Recession, depression, these terms are being used, right? And sometimes people will consider slowdown and recession as a same term. No, slowdown and recession is not a same term. They have different understanding in the different context. But probably means more or less common thing in the business cycle is what? Boom and recession. So when economy is going to hit on top, means the activities in the economy like production, employment, income, consumption, savings, right? So all these economic activity are going to rise. They are going to rise, or they are going to fall. So in this sense, they have defined, after studying long history of economy of last 150 or 200 years, they have called it as a business cycle, because this thing is happening again and again. They are going on top, then they are falling, they are again going on top, right? So in the business cycle, first we will understand what it is. When I say what it is in the business cycle, it's very simple. It's you are going on the top of the economy, and sometimes you are going to bottom of the economy. But here some key terms are very important. They can be asked in the exam straightforwardly. So in that sense, when I'll say what it is, our focus is going to be what? On key terms. For example, one term is takeoff phase. Takeoff phase of our economy, right? And another thing I told you, there is a difference between slowdown and recession. Slowing down and recession. Fine. So these are the terms we are going to discuss when we will discuss what it is, and then we will try to find out more technical part, why there is a boom and then recession. So first, what it is, then why it is, right? But again, we are going to limit ourselves why it is, right? Because it's an in-depth study in the subject of economics, and our discussion is what? Our discussion, or why I'm here, or why you are here, is for to clear the exam. So we are going to strictly by to clear the exam, whatever it is required, that is basics. We will go with the basics only, not going to dive deep inside. Fine. Okay. So first we will focus on what it is, right? So I told you what? Production, employment, income, consumption, and savings. All these are considered as a part of economic system. When we going to study any economy, all these are very important factors to study particular economy, right? Whereas one more thing which is also very important but I didn't mention, that is price. and in general we will call it as inflation, that is price rise. So first thing, when we say inflation and price, they are not same thing. Inflation and price, they are not same thing, but inflation and price rise. So when I'm using this word inflation, when I'm using this word is inflation, it is more focused on what? Rise in the price, not on just a price. What is the price of good? That is not important. The price rise. When we will use this term inflation, then it is price, right? So, but I wrote here what? I wrote here price. So price stability. Price stability. Price stability is important, right? So price stability is important. I use this term. So production, employment, income, consumption, savings. Then I told you price, and now I'm telling you price stability is also important factor. Price stability is also important factor. So when we use the term stability in general sense, just keep this economics aside. When we say stability, right? Stability is required, right? So stability means avoid the fluctuations. Then only you are going to stable, right? Now, if I'll say stability, I hope you got this understanding. Stability in the price. Fine. Stability in the price. So that means price fluctuation should not be there. Price fluctuation should not be there. So price must be stable. Now, if I'll say stability in inflation, stability in the inflation. See, first I told you what? Price. Then I told you price rise is inflation, right? Then I told you price stability is important factor. Now I am telling you stability is important. So what I mean to say stability in the price is important. So when I say stability in the price is important, what I mean is inflation is what? Price rise. So price can be rise, but there should be no huge fluctuation in the price, right? So price is rising, right? Price is rising, but there will be no fluctuation like this. There will be no fluctuation in the price. Price can be rise, right? But there will be no huge fluctuation in the price. Then we can say that stability in the inflation. Inflation is stable. Example, in India, monetary policy committee is here. Good evening, Anna. So monetary policy committee is here, and monetary policy committee is committed to stabilize India's inflation rate, is committed to stabilize India's inflation rate 4% plus minus 2%. So you are trying to stabilize what? You are trying to stabilize inflation, right? So what target actually they have? If I'll talk in very simple term, very simple term, then I can say that what MPC want? MPC want price should rise, but not more than 6% and not below than 2%. And it is official statement. I'm not telling what I believe. It is written in the proper law, right? The government and RBI has signed a law, and in that law it is written there inflation should be 4% plus minus 2%. That means maximum 6, minimum 2. So RBI and government of India both agree price should rise. Generally, as a consumer, we always have this thing what in our mind, price should not rise, right? We always feel that price should not rise. But at the same time, if I'll ask you as as an employee of private organization or government organization or self-employed, what do you think about your income? What do you think about your income? Then you always feel that what it should always rise. But when I'll say about price, you always feel that price should not rise. Number one, it should fall. So this is the common man's psyche. The common man's psyche is what price should not rise, it should decrease or it should be remain same, right? Whereas as a common man, we always want increase in our income, right? So this is common man's perception. Common man's perception, what price should not rise and income should always rise. But whereas if you will see two prominent who are controlling Indian economy, overseeing Indian economy, government and RBI, both agree price should rise. Then definitely after thinking a lot, they have decided to price should rise, right? Now, why they feel that price should rise, and then they feel that it should not rise more than 6%, but at the same time it should not rise below than 6%. Price should rise, but not above this, not below this. So after analyzing this statement, can we say that there is a need of stability in the inflation? Can we say that stability in the inflation? Yes, they want stability in the inflation. So that is why when we will say what are the important factors, what are the important factors to study in economy, that is production, employment, income, consumption, savings, and inflation. ब्रैकेट में stability in inflation, right? So these are the important thing for any country's economy, and that is why automatically all these are an important part of business. Okay, I'm shifting to new page. So I said wrote there what production, employment, income, consumption, savings, inflation, right? So I explained you these are the important factors of a country's economy, and that is why it is automatically going to be the important part of any country's business cycle. Understood? Understood this point? In business cycle, what components are we are going to study, and on that basis we are going to identify key terms. Got this point? Please comment. Okay, good. So this maybe can be asked in the exam who called it as a trade cycle, right? So it was J.M. Keynes who called business cycle as a trade cycle. He was the person who called it as a business cycle, as a trade cycle. Fine. He was the person who called it as a business cycle, as a trade cycle. Okay. Now, one more thing. When he called the trade cycle, when he called it as a trade cycle, I told you in business cycle there is a boom and recession. But when he called it as a trade cycle, he identified boom as what? High employment and high inflation. He called it as a high employment and high inflation. Whereas this thing he defined this part, lower part, as what? He defined lower part as a high unemployment and low inflation. High unemployment and low inflation. So I hope when I wrote there ki what RBI want to stabilize inflation 4% maximum, when RBI say they want to stabilize inflation to 4%, maximum to 6%, and minimum to 2%, not below than 2%. And what Keynes is saying here, recession is what? High unemployment and low inflation. So Keynes was trying to explain, when he studied the business cycle, he want to explain if there will be a low inflation, very low inflation, price are not going to rise properly, and there is a very low increase in the price, then there is a possibility of what? Recession. So this is why RBI also understand if inflationary rate is going to be below than 2%, definitely there will be a situation like recession in the economy and unemployment rate is going to increase, right? So you can connect what Keynes said that, and why government of India and RBI don't want inflation go below 2%, right? So who defined business cycle as a trade cycle? Answer is J.M. Keynes, right? And if question little bit twisted, so J.M. Keynes, what are the two factors important for a trade cycle? So for J.M. Keynes, two factors which are important for the trade cycle or the business cycle, they are unemployment and inflation, right? So unemployment and inflation, or in other words, employment and inflation, right? So either unemployment or inflation, or employment and inflation, these are the two factors which are the key in the study by JM Keynes about business cycle. See, whatever the SEBI specific syllabus is, just give me a second, huh? So this is what SEBI specific syllabus. SEBI specific syllabus. Right. And why I'm emphasizing what Keynes said that. Why I'm not emphasizing what other economists said that. Why I'm emphasizing only what Keynes said that. Because whether it is business cycle or classical Keynesian approach, you can see that classical and Keynesian approach, determination of output and employment, ISLM function, consumption function, investment function, multiplier and accelerator. All this part all this part is basically Keynes versus others. Right. So it is Keynes versus others. That is why it is very important to know what Keynes said that. And it is well accepted. He is a most influential economist till then date. Right. Most influential economist till then date. So that is why from the exam point of view, it is very important to understand this point. Right. So let's go back again to that point. So I hope you got this definition of business cycle. Fine. Now, okay, means from here, if I'll start, I means I cannot stop myself. If I'll start from here, I cannot stop myself because that is a chain. That is a kind of chain is going to be here, right? So I cannot stop myself, and time is almost over. We have to go for our another class at 9, where I'm going to discuss about RBI Grade B part, that is monetary policy transmission and marginal standing facility. Right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wind it up here. In next class, when we'll start this part, keep remember this thing, these two things. These two things. What? First is business cycle. This business cycle and consumption function. Business cycle and consumption function will move side by side. Will move side by side. Okay, so in next class we will first go for all the keywords, and side by side I'll also explain the Keynesian consumption function also. And once the Keynesian consumption function will be over, we can take this investment function and multiplier and accelerator. Then we will move towards what? Classical and Keynesian approach of output and employment and ISLM function. Right, in this way we will go. So in next 3-4 class, this entire part will be over. Market structure we already completed. Right, then we will move towards this part. Okay, so I hope you understand, you got understanding what I taught today. So any questions, or should I wind up this session right now? Telegram ID. I have to check it in next session. Tomorrow I'll check it and I'll share with you. Right now I have to check it, but means I'm logging from other device on Telegram, so I'll check it, and if possible I'll share with you. Okay, so you can ask this question in the next class. If possible, I will definitely share with you. Okay.